All right, I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Board. Today is Thursday, March 28th. It is now 1:01 p.m. Please stand for pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have a roll call for this action.
Chairman Sean Poole.
Here.
Member Randy Stout. Let the record show that Member Randy Stout is absent from today's meeting. Member Lori Simpson. Let the record show that Member Lori Simpson is absent from today's meeting. Member Lisa Burke.
Here.
Member Joe Malin.
Here.
City Attorney Nancy Meyer.
Here. Okay, thank you very much. Do a little housekeeping first. Regarding the minutes from our last meeting on the 26th of January, do we have any discussion, questions, concerns, or do I have a motion?
Move to accept the minutes as.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, fantastic. All right, today's agenda, we're going to discuss the Waterfront Overlay District revisions.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So I provided you 3 options, none of which you can have to look at, take. It's just some suggestions. Option number 1 is what Waterfront Overlay District language currently shows in your code. Option 2, option 3, just give you some suggestions. The main thing we're looking at is paragraph D8, the top of page 2. Of the various options. This conversation started about, I guess, currently in this location, based on the writing of this code, there's a limit on what establishments can do regarding rentals on the property, and there's been a conversation whether that is something that this city wants to keep doing. Do they want to lessen? Do they want to leave it? Do they want to change it somehow? So these are just some ideas to give you guys some talking points and some start. We have some people here that might want to also give some comments about it. That's kind of why we're here and why you're looking at this.
Wonderful. Okay. Any questions or comments from the board first, and then I'll take it to the public.
On number 8,
Mhm.
the one that's kind of highlighted, that's where most of the differences are, but no one's really said, like pontoon boats not to exceed 24 feet in length, and then back of the back is kind of stricken. So, has anyone said what will be the length of pontoon boats or john boats?
That's what you're going to do. That's the idea. Is so right now, option 1 is what's currently written. And option 2 and 3 are just suggestions that just came from me. They don't mean anything. You
Sure.
really don't have to listen to them.
City council.
No. This is you looking at it first, and what you guys suggest, I'll take back to City Council, and they'll talk about it some more.
I feel like there's more things than just the highlighted options that need looked at,
Then you can
because it stays the same through all 3, and there's some other issues in here that I think need looked at.
Okay. In regards to number 8, or in addition to?
In addition to
Okay,
number 8,
all right.
I think there are other things that are somewhat outdated, or they're just not appropriate for what's actually already going on in the city. So.
Understood. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to open up to the public first. Asked to speak. I'm sure it's regarding this particular issue.
All right. Afternoon. Tim Lowe, 5349 Bridge Street, Port Richey, Florida. I'm here on behalf of Port Richey Marina and Rentals and Seabreeze Boat Rentals. So we recently just got our permit finalized for our wet slips at our new marina next to Catches. We've been operating Seabreeze Boat Rentals behind Catches for about a year or 2, and recently we're informed that there's these restrictions in the current code where pontoons in excess of 24 feet cannot be rented, and john boats in excess of 16 feet. Our pontoon boats are under 24 feet, so that's not a huge concern, but we also would like to rent a deck boat, maybe a center console fishing boat, These would all be probably 24 feet or less, but I just feel having that restriction is a little bit too restrictive. We would like to ask you to recommend to the council that it be, if you are going to restrict the length, maybe make it 30 feet, something that's a little bit more common. I'm not sure why that footage was in there to begin with, that restriction. We feel that boat rentals in that area, specifically the waterfront overlay district, would be a complement, would bring in tourism. Out of the city's waterfront area, we feel that that would be the best location for rentals to happen, rather than in another area that's maybe more primarily residential. Wouldn't want to increase commercial traffic there. So we'd like to request that you open it up to recreational vessels as a whole, and if there must be a restriction, maybe on length. I can tell you, as the operator of that business, we have no intentions of renting vessels that would be in excess of 28 or 30 feet, just because predominantly people that don't own vessels and that are renting don't have the experience with a vessel that large. You have usually dual motors. The anchor is electronically controlled. There's a lot more variables with those larger vessels that we wouldn't want to rent to people because of that, and the insurance companies would most likely restrict us from that as well. So we're here in support of lifting those restrictions to allow more recreational vessels to be rented in the district.
Any questions for Mr. Love?
No?
Joe?
So, yes. There you go. So the to the west of Catches, they've got that small marina,
Yes, sir.
and if you have a 30-foot long boat or longer, will they still be able to utilize those slips going into those areas?
So at that marina, our wet slips are designed for boats up to about, we've got some outer slips that could handle a vessel up to about 45 feet. But most of our slips would be for vessels of 30 feet to 35. But that would be for private slip holders. So that marina is designed for boat rentals and private slips.
And that's the one west of Catches.
Yes, sir. Yeah, between Catches and Whiskey Joe's.
Okay, good. And the reason I ask is if you ask that it be lifted to 30, but no one can get in those slips because someone on the third one from the end has a 30-foot boat, but no one else can maneuver by it. That's why I'm asking this question.
I think the confusion there is where is Seabreeze operating out of compared in relation to the actual marina?
So Seabreeze is currently operating at the new marina, at those slips. Again, I'm saying 30 feet because I'm sure there's other businesses maybe in the future that might want to rent a 26 or 27-foot boat. We've got 3 locations on the coast where we rent, including this one. Our largest vessel is 24 feet. Again, right now we don't have any intentions to rent a vessel larger than that.
Larger than
24 feet, but that may change, and there may be other businesses that aren't aware of this situation right now, so I'm trying to speak for the industry as well a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we would not put vessels in our marina that wouldn't be able to fit and maneuver.
So you concerned about navigability, Joe? Is that what you're
yes,
asking?
that's what I'm worried about. And the other part is that, do you qualify the people that rent those vessels? I mean, I know how to run a power boat, but I'm not really sure that I could get in and out of one of those flips if I had something stuck out in the back that I have to maneuver around. So it's not so much that I can't do it, but I would also not like to see someone else in that marina have their property damaged by someone who has no clue what they're doing and just runs it in.
Absolutely, valid question, and we do qualify our customers. We have a list of rules and regulations and restrictions for those customers. They must be able to properly communicate experience with the vessel, but they also have to have a safe boater course succession. They've got to be able to complete the safe boating course. If they haven't done that, they need to do that prior to renting the vessel. And then we will speak with them and ask them questions about their experience. Our staff is very experienced. And unfortunately, there are times where we have to deny people the ability to rent the vessel. Yes.
I'm sure when you're taking docking or rentals or whatever, you have people that are aware of how much space you got to dock it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to stick out.
Yeah, it's not going to.
You didn't do that, or you're not operating responsibly.
We would be stepping on ourselves, if you will, right? We don't want to compromise or inconvenience or damage our private customers as well.
Okay.
The ratio of boat rentals to private, I mean, it's a much smaller ratio. We have 2 vessels there right now. You know, if business increases, we may go to 4. Right now, that marina is 38 slips. So the majority of those vessels will be private slip holders.
All right. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
I have a question.
One second. Ashley, can you let the record show that Randy's here? Randy, would you like to join us?
My question is, we're talking about the marina and we're talking about you renting boats. But does that also apply to any like rental slips? Because it not only does it say aquatic establishment, but it's also tour boat charters. So we know we have a tour boat charter on the river that's much longer than 24 feet.
Yes.
It's very popular in the area, and I think it's an asset.
Absolutely.
So it's over that.
So
My question is, how are you going to limit, or why would you, when it's an asset to the area?
So currently, the tour boat charters has no limits size-wise. The limits currently are just on pontoon boats and john boats.
I wanted to make sure that's exactly what that's.
Is that tour boat, pontoon boat?
I don't know what they rent. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes they are pontoon boats, but it's a different thing than Catches and Rum River owning them as opposed to somebody else. But they can dock them at their place if they have the room for it, and I want to make sure that's still going to be an option.
That's interesting because the verbiage is pretty vague.
That's why we're here.
So
That's one of the
It's
reasons
okay.
we're here. Yeah.
good call.
Gray, I don't like gray.
That's why we're here to make it black and white.
I mean, it's one of the
Hopefully.
popular things around here. I wanted to
Absolutely.
make sure we weren't
Then there's a
stepping
bit-
on our own toes saying, whoops.
And there's a fishing charter that's been there for 25 years. It's the same
Right.
thing. It's probably about 35, 40 feet.
If I could ask another question.
Sure.
Am I reading too much into this? Does this mean if it's not listed here that it's restricted?
The way it's written now, it's the activities that are allowed are what's on here. If it's not on here,
So a deck boat, which is similar to a pontoon that has a fiberglass hull, it's
Right
not
now-
specifically called out. Are those allowed to be rented?
right now, you are allowed to have the fishing charter, non-motorized watercraft rentals, tour boat charters, pontoon boats that don't exceed 24 feet, john boats that don't exceed 16 feet, and there's another requirement for the john boat and pontoon boat, and that is it.
Okay, so if it's not,
Not there, yep,
understood.
So any other boat is
right now, no.
a boat.
Correct. Or in the case of something that's already there, jet skis are not listed there either.
Right.
We know that that's operating currently.
Right.
Which is why we're sitting here.
Right, exactly.
Because it's gray.
Exactly. And that's what, like option 2, you can see that the language I changed just has fishing charter, watercraft rental, tour boat charters. That's much bigger,
Right.
right? Much bigger. Size limits, there's no boat limitations. That may be too, not limiting enough. But that's kind of idea. You can work with those words and figure out which ones you want to use.
And how about the source of power, outboard engine only?
I know
What does that mean?
nothing about boats except how to get on them and enjoy myself. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I could speak to that, again, we don't currently have any in our inventory that have a motor other than an outboard. I know a lot of the charter vessels, fishing vessels, commercial vessels have inboards. Some of them maybe have inboard outboards.
Or jet boats.
Maybe the business could grow and somebody wants to rent or charter, utilize a inboard outboard. So I also feel just for the industry's sake that should be lifted. There's also a comment here that the outboard engine horsepower shall not exceed the hull rating. That's kind of just obvious. That's what manufacturers do and Coast Guard inspections require, et cetera. So I guess it's not hurting having that in there, but it seems like extra language.
Airboats aren't allowed,
Now, does not mention that that can be
boats
happening.
not. But none of this is enforced, I guess.
Well, that's a conversation for a different day and different
That's
place.
We're not doing code enforcement. Come on, Randy, come on.
And then you mentioned the jet skis, or then there's boats that are jet
Jet skis.
powered.
No.
They look like a regular boat almost.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of, it's too restrictive the way it is.
I didn't really understand all that. And I kind of felt like if you're trying to limit the speed and the boats are going in the river or wakes and stuff, that makes sense. And that's against the law now. So, it's just a matter of enforcing what the laws are on the book, the horsepower, if you're worried about boats going too fast, and too big, and the size of the boats and things. There's those, it says John boats 16 feet. Panga boats, they're kind of like a John boat, but they're generally fairly long for the size of the boat. And there's canoes, things like that.
Correct. I think the industry has evolved and grown significantly since this was written. Obviously, I'm not aware of why this was written or what the intentions were, but I do know that in our marinas, we see the average size boat is increasing just by the nature of the industry growing and people becoming more familiar with it and becoming exposed to it.
Any other questions for Mr. Lowe?
Yeah, thank you for your
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Mueller? Oh, sorry.
Your name's Mueller too? Love to meet you. Eddie. Dave Mueller, 5439 Blue Point Drive. I think this arose because we had restrictive requirements in our waterfront district for the business owners. Yet, as a resident and anybody coming in from Pasco County, they can put anything they want in at that boat ramp and run anywhere they want out there. So I think the focus at one time might have been good, but I think at this point in time, like Tim had mentioned, things have evolved. And the reality is, if he's got a concern and the kind of boats that he was wanting to rent that are going to benefit our area here, it's going to be incumbent upon them to ensure that their people are properly trained, they got insurance on all that stuff. So actually, he's probably going above and beyond than what a recreational person might do, because I know a lot of people don't even have insurance on their boats. So the bigger issue was there was, jet skis going on and some concern about that. But at the end of the day, ultimately, I like option 2 because it's the least restrictive, and it focuses on what can happen down there. And if we're a city that's trying to grow, I think these all bring the right things to our city and will hopefully improve it and improve the waterfront there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
Dave,
You want to ask Dave?
can I-
Pardon me?
I have a question.
Yeah, we're the same issue still. We're still working the
Did you
same
say
issue.
option 2?
It's similar, yeah.
Feel free, step forward.
It's on page,
Announce your, for the record, please.
May I approach? Give you.
Can you hold that thought? Lisa?
Did you find
answer
that?
your question?
He answered my question, what he said.
Okay, perfect. State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Mark King. My wife and I are current owners of Port Richey Water Sports at the Gildog Marina.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to, if you have something you want to pass to the board, sure.
May I
Absolutely.
give you some advertisement?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. My name's again Mark King. My wife and I currently own a jet ski company at the Go Dogs. It's come to our attention that there's some concern over a business operation. I just wanted to clear up a few things. First and foremost, we're not like a car rental company where you just take the vessel and go. This is not responsible on many levels. No one knows where they're going, especially out in the Gulf. They don't know the tide conditions. They don't obey. No one will. Some won't obey the wake laws by their own, and they may get lost. This costs valuable time, resources, and money. No one, especially vacationers, are aware of the tide conditions around there and where to be safely if the tide drops. If they get stuck, again, it can also ruin our vessels. Even though these issues are not of our cause, customers will see it in a bad way and leave us bad reviews. Secondly, if there's any mechanical issues with the jet skis, whether they break down or customers clog up the jet pump or the engine with seagrass, we'll lose money on both sides. They just take it and destroy the vessel, and it would be immobile in the water. For the above reasons and more, we have implemented a system that is both safe and fun for everyone. And this system is by giving guided tours only. No one takes the ski and goes. We're with them. We have licensed tour guides that have done this for. Sorry, I'm emotional. They've been with us for years. We started in Clearwater Beach. We tried to make Port Richey our home. We put a lot of time. We bought a house out here. We opened up shop at the Go Dog. We came to City Hall. They said it was okay. And now we're hearing that. Now we're hearing that we may not be falling within the ordinance. We may be. We may be out in the water, so to speak. We're a standard jet ski. We provide tours only. Our tours also have a set routes in which to go, safe routes. Our highly trained and licensed tour guides supervise from start to finish. We guide them in and guide them out. We tell them when to slow down. We have them obey all the wake zones. We limit the horse planes, and we keep them safe from boat traffic. We're there to watch over them to make sure that other boats and boaters are paying attention. And we limit our size to only 4 to 5 skis per guide. Better service is also given when you reduce the group size. We currently have a 14-year premium safety record. We were currently Clearwater Beach Jet Ski Rentals. I believe our company renting space at the Go Dogs actually complies with the city ordinance. Section 12755 of the WAD, subsection D outlines permitted uses, which states actually, number 8, recreational aquatic activities establishment, in parentheses, fishing charter, non-motorized watercraft vehicles, tour boat charters, pontoon boats not to exceed 24 feet in overall length, john boats not to exceed 16 foot in length, etc. I like to give the following definition of a charter boat. Any vessel or wavecraft used to transport passengers who paid a fee or tourism, including but not limited to fishing, whale watching, sightseeing, or diving. We actually show our customers things. We show them around and give them a history of the area. We go around the stilt homes. We go around Dirty Key and Clote. We show them the mangroves. and we sightsee for dolphin, manatee, and more. As you can see, we do actually fit the definition of tour boat charters. We do comply with section 127.55 since we're a tour boat company. We're not a rental company in sense. They just don't take it and go. As you can see from my advertisement in the back, we do show that we only advertise guided tours. As you can see, we only tell guided tours and supervised freestyle. So they don't ever leave our site. If anybody disobeys the rules, we send them back. So I'm just begging you to look again at the law, at the ordinance. I think we comply because I feel that we are a supervised tour company. We're a boat tour company, not rental. I think we're more safe than those others out there. We don't let them go off on their own. Our area is against the wall. It's out of the way of everybody. They go single file past the Gill Dogs and they park. And this is my livelihood. This is what we counted to make money on down here. I bought a house down here. Trying to make this work. And if we're not allowed to go there, I don't know what we're gonna do. So please, yes, sir.
I'm going to open up the questions to the board to ask any questions.
Before we start though, I just want
Yes,
to say, I don't know if there's an active code enforcement case going, so I don't know specific questions about his particular.
Sure.
If you have general questions about jet skis and
Right.
allowing those in the WOD, that's one thing, but let's not talk about his possible case
Understood.
specifically, if that makes sense. Thank you.
Well, can I ask just about the general concept of
Yes.
supervised jet skiing? This is new to me, and I'm impressed. Okay, because I live on the river myself, and the jet skis and the no wake zone is probably my biggest contention. Okay, and it's individual people, hot dogging around in the river when they shouldn't be.
Yes, sir. We always make sure that's our number thing because we're insured. I mean, we spend over $20,000 a year on insurance. We take it very seriously. We don't want our rates to go up. We're very courteous of the neighbors around us when we go through. So we make sure that we're respectful to the neighbors, to the environment, and we make sure everybody's safe. There are other jet skis out there. There are jet ski mechanics out there that test the boats, especially in the bayou, and they go a little fast. And unfortunately, they think they're associated with us, which we're not. We don't hang out in the bayou. It doesn't make for. It's not. It's kind of like Big Bend Parliament. Big Bend Parliament. You just kind of go in a circle. So we're more out in the Gulf. We don't go out and not even 12-mile winds. We wouldn't go for safety's sake. Like I said, there's a difference between letting someone take the jet ski and go, and hope they're coming back. Some people even take them and strip them for parts. They'll take them to another, and they do that down in Miami. Other places, they'll take them, strip them, or take a part off and then say that the jet ski's a piece of junk, and now they're stuck. So they want their money back too. Keep an eye on, because we've got whistles, we've got horns. Anything, like I said, anything over 4 to 5. We hire an extra helper. We'll split the group in 2. Some people don't go as fast. We never, ever, for safety reasons, tell someone that they have to speed up. In Clearwater, some of the companies do. I mean, they're in line 8 or 10, and they say, you got to stick with the pack. We're not like that. We're family-oriented. And so if anybody can't keep up, we'll we'll call back and we'll say we need another tour guide. My wife will jump on a ski, and she'll take the slower ones. Kids, we love it to have kids enjoy it. We do take the younger. We like to take the younger crowds. We love families. We are a family faith-based business because we are a family business. And I don't know what much more to say. I think that we do fall in the category because we are truly a tour company. We show people around. So they just don't go on their own. There's just so many reasons why we wouldn't let anybody on their own on a ski. Besides not coming back and run into another boat.
You made a good point. There are jet skis all over. They're not his company. They're jet skis. You aren't going to be able to regulate that. They're out there. Nobody likes it when they throw away. Nobody likes it when they're crazy. But that doesn't mean that's his business where they're watching.
Sure.
We also do an hour briefing. An hour. They sit there for an hour and they listen to us. Not only do they have to things off on our contract, but we're also checking to see, are they impaired? If we don't feel safe, we just tell them they can't go. I mean, we screen each and every one of the drivers and passengers. So they go an hour. They train with us. We actually have an hour of training. We go over signals and distancing and speed and what to do if there is beep. Sometimes the jet skis will complain for no reason. Well, it's like a 50-hour oil code. Maybe they sucked up some seagrass. We're there to help them. So they know to raise their hand, and we'll come around, speed around. We'll jump inside the waters and pull the grass out for them. So we're there also for help. So we, I think it just falls. You can see from the average we number today. Some things you'll see that say jet ski rentals, maybe in the part of the name, but that's more like complaining because Texas Roadhouse is in Florida. It should be Florida State Roadhouse. It's in the name. We do tell them, and even on our FAQ on our website, we tell them that it is and we turn back business. But you know what? I'd rather turn away those people that want to go out and drive fast and hot dog and lose money than jeopardize the safety of us, the drivers, and the community. Yes, sir.
For your insurance, in the description of your coverage, does it say charter or guided tour boats that you operate, or does it say does not cover rentals? Is there any kind of language like that in there?
That's a good question. I'll answer it like this. It's not specified in the insurance, but our insurance policy does require us to have eyes on the drivers at all times. So that would make it a tour.
Is there language or description that we could
even in Clearwater
but allow this?
Clearwater too, they have to keep an eyes on them. That you'll see them going back and forth. They can go in a square or circle or spell their name in cursive, but they can still only go from point A to point B, and they can't leave. It's the insurance law, and we have to adhere to that, or we lose our insurance.
Yeah, some of the requirements that you've heard from individuals is insurance requirements and stuff like that. Not necessarily something from the city level.
Correct.
Your level at this point is just, do you want to allow certain activities? Not to say that you can't be add more restrictions. But a lot of it's going to be insurance based, not city based, or maybe requirements within the city for their business tax receipt to let them operate. But at this point, what we're just trying to do is, what activities do you want to allow in the WOT? Now it's very restrictive, and do we want to open it up to include jet skis and these other things that you've heard about, and maybe some things you haven't even heard about yet?
Any other questions?
But it doesn't not say jet skis, which is what got brought up. If it doesn't say some
If it's
sort of
the way
boat,
this
then
is
it's allowed.
no, the way this is written, if it's not on there, you can't do it.
Correct.
The way it's
That would
written
be any
currently.
other boat.
Yep.
Like every other boat.
Yep.
That would be every boat there is except for pontoons, and so it
Correct.
obviously is
Correct. By weird.
up or a choice of words.
I think it might have been a little outdated when they wrote the ordinance too. I don't think back then jet skis were quite as popular, and they probably never thought the Gildogs was a residential house.
Right.
They never, in a million years, would you think that there's going to be a restaurant and some, and live music and fun times over there. And, we want to bring business to this community. That's about generating revenue within our city. We want to make it better. And there's not a lot of, I don't think there's any jet ski companies close to here. We're pulling in actually traffic from Tampa and Orlando because, well, in Orlando, you're kind of mid-spot. You go east or go west. And in some spots of Orlando, we're actually closer than Clearwater. And in the summer, if you consider the traffic on the bridge, they're definitely going to make it over to us first. We're more with nature out here. We left Clearwater, but I actually think that this is a better place. It's more with nature. There's less boat traffic. So that even makes it safer for everybody, especially with the younger generation who might not have even driven a car. Now you're putting them on a jet ski. I like it up here. There's no wake zone, so you don't have to worry about going up and speeding up and down and them getting confused. When am I supposed to slow down? When am I supposed to speed up? It's all. Look, this is the speed on the no wake zone. It goes from here to the Gulf of Mexico, and obey that, and we're good. Keep your distancing, like we talked about for the hour of briefing, and we're good. Don't get between me and land, because we know any storm can kick up a sandbar, and we go out there and survey after every storm and make sure that the sandbars didn't shift. North Anclote Sandbar is pretty dangerous. And if you don't know the area, they're just going to Clearwater just had another one. They're going back and forth, hot dog, and the tide went down, and they got hurt. But we're there that's why we're there. A lot of people thank us. There's some spoils out there over by Anclote Beach. There's some spoiled out there right by the wake, and if you don't know they're there, it can be dangerous. And I think we're providing a safe environment for everybody, and we got nothing but safety in mind. I know jet skis sound, oh my God, I don't know about these guys, but I'm telling you, it's if you ever come on or you ever see a tour, I welcome you to come with us. We'll take you out if you actually want to see how safe we are and how we operate and what we do.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
If I'm looking at this option 2 on describing the types of boats, basically it pretty much could be any kind of boat. But if it was added in there, except or prohibited would be jet ski rentals. Would that impact you? Would that prevent you from running your business like you described?
I'm sorry, sir. Can I get up a little bit? I'm hearing impaired.
He's saying that if they were to modify the code to say excluding jet ski rentals, would that impact your business?
Rentals.
If it said excluding
Jet ski rentals. I think that's the point.
Hold on. That's really close to the.
Yeah,
that's too close to his actual case.
That's his issue that he has now.
Okay,
So-
well, I'll ask you
Not
that.
not specifically.
I'll ask you the question
Right.
then.
Right.
If it says
I will.
except for jet ski,
Right now, the way this reads, you cannot have jet ski rentals.
right.
Is that the
We're
question?
here to talk about changing it.
Right. Right.
That's
So
what
you
it already says.
it already doesn't allow jet ski rentals.
Pardon?
It does currently. It does not allow jet ski rentals. If you want it
Okay.
to allow jet ski rentals, we need to add that language. Does that answer
He's
your question?
concerned with the verbiage.
Okay. What,
Yeah.
What would it
looking
impact
at this.
this gentleman's business is what he's saying, but that's a problem. We can't have
Right.
that conversation because it's an
This is
existing
the problem I
case.
never
Yeah,
considered, really.
my
and
answer
I
would be
like
yes.
the law.
Yes.
My answer would be yes. Now, legally, later, there may be a case that says I'm something wrong, differently than what I'm saying, but at this point, I'd say yes, that would affect his business. If you excluded
If you
jet ski
exclude it, it will
rentals,
currently affect his business.
It would.
Yes.
that's my
So there's,
opinion. So you either need to allow jet skis or not allow jet skis.
So I'd like to,
some contention about whether it's a rental, or there's a business out there that's rental or guided tour. Or
Yes.
just, okay.
Yes.
so I'm proposing to either modify the code or considering us under 12755 section 8, I believe it says recreational aquatic activities establishment, and then it says tour boat charters.
So and we understand where you're coming from that standpoint, and that's a valid conversation to be had regarding your case you have currently. For the board's intent and purposes, it doesn't affect what they're trying to do. So, but we do appreciate when you've come and given the information, the data they need to be able to help your understand what you're from that standpoint.
Okay.
So it's not our place to modify the code to be inclusive of what deciding what your business is. That's not what we're here for. So, but you did answer the question I think you were asking, correct? He's answered the question you want. Your guidance from the attorney regarding staying clear of his case is the key part of that. So we're going to modify or at least review the code and make a recommendation to council based off of what we believe to need to be modified. So, I mean, he's made it very clear he's doing a tour. He's not renting skis. That's key.
Exactly, yes, sir. You got it spot on.
Okay. Well, in that case, we thank you for your time. Any other questions? Joe, you have a question for the young man? Okay, perfect. Any other questions for the gentleman?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you have any questions, feel free to email me, call us.
Okay.
Our number's on the card.
Mr. Hoover?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, John Cooper, 8703 Green Street, Port Richey, Florida. Coming back to the item number 8 there in the code, obviously, this is Mark, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, Mark had actually reached out to me on this, and that's why I actually brought this up to have you guys review. But summarizing here, really what the code is saying is that any motorized watercraft rental is not allowed. If it has a motor, whether it's jet propelled or whatever, it's not allowed. But it makes an exception for john boats and pontoon boats, 24/16. So it'd be my recommendation that we look at removing the non-motorized from that code, which is option number 2, and make watercraft rentals just in general. And when you talk about watercraft rentals in general, you don't have to specify deck boats, you don't have to specify fishing boats, jet skis, whatever. Any watercraft rental would be okay. As far as the size restrictions, again, I don't think that's necessary from my opinion. Like Tim had stated, you're not going to rent out yachts, right? That's just not a good business model, right? Very expensive watercraft. You're not going to take that kind of risk. So I don't think we need to mandate that. The reality of it is anybody can put any kind of watercraft in the water down there, and they can do some things. It's my understanding that this code was put in place probably to protect the residents in Miller's Bayou from jet skis coming in and hot rodding. Again, you can't keep that from happening. You can keep businesses from allowing that easy access to it there, but at the end of the day, somebody can put anything in there and do that. So I think the intent here is to mitigate that. What we should do for the intent of that is you put some things in, like put a sign up there that says no rentals allowed past this point unless you're transiting or staying at one of the residences. That would probably help with that. But again, as far as restricting the actual rental itself, you're just prohibiting business down there. So I'd recommend you guys go with number 2, option 2, and do away with that restrictive language. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'll close to the public, and I'll just bring it back to the board for conversation and or motions. I will start, if that's all right, guys. I personally agree this is an antiquated verbiage for sure. I believe it's it's the business owner's responsibility to manage, have the proper insurances, vet the people correctly, and take it out of the city's hands. It shouldn't be the city's responsibility. I'm completely okay with modifying it to option 2. That's my personal contention. I don't see a very good business model for renting 35-foot boats. So I don't see a lot of people doing that. So because of that fact, I think size restrictions are also something that shouldn't be. We don't need to micromanage businesses in the waterfront overlay district. We want to encourage the businesses to come to the overlay district. As a matter of fact, so that's my contention. I'll go around the board. Ms. Lisa,
I agree with you.
Randy,
I like number 2. Where does it say in number 8 in any of these options talk about rentals? I don't see the word rental in here anyway.
Well,
Number eight,
Well, it
number
does say establishment
says rental.
establishments. So that's
as opposed to personal. That's how I took
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry, watercraft rentals.
yeah.
Okay. Is it possible to say, except no jet ski rentals? And that's, I'm trying to look for some kind of language to allow this guided tours on jet skis.
Then you can't if it says no
Right.
jet ski rentals.
Well, the idea,
If you say no jet ski rentals, there are no jet ski tours.
If you go with option 2, that's been just suggested so far, and it just says watercraft rentals, whether he's renting or not, that could happen. I'm not going to talk about him. But would be able to rent jet skis.
are boat clubs considered rentals?
Boat slips.
Clubs.
Oh, clubs.
Absolutely. That's an absolutely. It's a rental.
But
I think once again, we're looking for ways to tighten down things, what the city allows, but instead of letting the business owners manage their responsibilities and the courts code to do their job. So, I mean, if you rent, whether you rent a 24-foot center console or you rent a 13-foot jet ski, if you're speeding through the bayou and you're acting like an idiot in there, it's the responsibility of the police department to be able to enforce the law. It's not the responsibility of this board to make recommendations to council to limit that, to control that, because you're not going to control it anyway. So there's still somebody's going to break the law. If they want to break the law, they're going to break the law. So that's my personal contention.
well,
Joe?
I
I'll come back to
agree
Randy.
with you. I like the number 2 option.
Sorry.
Sorry. I agree. I like the number 2 option, and then we'll just have to give the, city police department the, equipment and the manpower to go out there and, limit the,
Enforce the law.
enforce the law. I mean, because this isn't, and I understand where these, especially the big marina stuff, Avis Hertz and those guys, they don't rent $125,000 cars much to anyone. And unlike, you see out on the highways, it says rental car, but some of the people that drive them really think that they're stunt drivers.
Right.
So I'm okay with just opening this up and let the business owners, control their end of it. Let the city of Port Richey police our end of it. And, I think we're good.
Randy, back to you.
okay. So the option number 2 would allow jet ski rentals regardless of whether there's a guide or not.
Unfortunately.
You're opening it up to all watercraft.
And I live on Miller Bayou, and I'd rather not see jet ski rentals cruising through my Miller Bayou either. So, but I don't want to. It's not our position, I believe, for us to control that. I'd rather pick up the phone, dial 911, and say there's an idiot in my backyard. So, and if we give them what they need to be able to do their job, that's not my problem. So, do I have a motion?
I move that we go forward with the option number 2 and approve that to send back to the city council.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on. Number 3, public hearing on the future. Are we doing that one? We're not doing that? Oh, we have nothing. Oh, that's right.
No,
Two-
but- finish.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right. You had some other things you wanted to mention in here.
Yes, there are some other things that maybe we can.
Oh, yes. Let's get back to that.
And
Absolutely. and look at them in the
We
future?
don't have to go, I mean, and maybe we can't go over it all today, but there are definitely some things in here that need looked at also.
Are we talking about just specifically section D?
I'm talking about, well, under additionally, the following uses are prohibited.
Right.
I'm talking about that section.
So that's E2.
Right.
I'm talking about E2, H, which has to do with amplified music. I'm talking about, where else? There was something else. No, there's another section somewhere else that I thought was off. It would be also F. Nope. No. G6. Storage.
So that being said, is this something we want to have you look into
I would say, yeah,
prior
tell
to?
me everything you're,
Yeah, because this, well, and I'm not going to go all the way into it, but
Sure.
obviously, the music thing, live music in Cody River Landing, the Bayou District, that's a thing.
Right.
And none of this in here even makes sense.
Okay.
Really, because nobody's getting permits to hear live music, and they shouldn't have to, as long as they aren't going above us sound ordinance.
Right.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. But something needs changed in there. Then under the storage thing, it says storage sheds, exterior refrigerator units, blah, blah, blah. All that, everything has to be under the principal structure, which there are storage sheds and there are other things that are outside. Currently, they've been like that. There's no problem. Nobody complains. There's been no code enforcement because there shouldn't be, in my opinion.
So
then
you're
another-
suggesting we review those and modify accordingly?
Yeah, because there are sheds, and they store stuff out of the way, and then it looks neat. And I have no problem with that. Maybe somebody else has something else to say, but some of these things are in here, and they're not being addressed as they are in there, because people don't care.
So protocol-wise, would you want her to?
no, you can discuss it now if you want and give me a recommendation to take to council. The other option is I've marked them, let me look at them, make sure there's not some other reason within the code that
I'm
these
fine
are
with-
here.
I'm fine with this. I can talk about this.
Okay.
Because like I said, it's not like,
We can move the other one forward to council with your recommendation and circle back and do these next time,
Perfect.
if that works for you guys.
Okay, in that case, do I have any other motions? Like an
Your favorite motion.
important motion.
motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I second.
You can't second your. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys.
I would if I could. but I can't.